Deontay Wilder is saying he's going to knock out Luis Ortiz in 3 rounds. He's being contemptuous of Luis Ortiz, at least on the surface. He may well be training extremely hard. He may well see it as a very, very serious test. But the words coming out of his mouth don't seem to suggest that. Perhaps this is just his way of getting himself ready for battle. Some fighters do that. Some fighters like to downplay the threat of their opponent, and that's how they get themselves up. Muhammad Ali used to do that. He used to dismiss the chances of his opponents. He used to ridicule them and make them out to be garbage before he fought them. Tyson Fury has got a similar approach. So maybe Deontay Wilder is just doing that, but deep down he knows that Luis Ortiz could potentially be by far the toughest fight of his life, and he's preparing accordingly. I guess we'll find out in due course. But one of the things that he's also doing is in virtually every interview, he's talking about Anthony Joshua. He has got an obsession with Joshua. Now that's a good thing if he actually intends to step in the ring and fight. But at the moment he's acting as though he is just as big commercially as Anthony Joshua, when we all know for a fact that he isn't. He hasn't even come close to earning the kind of money Joshua's earned. And although I don't really like talking about fighters' purses and money and all this kind of stuff, when it comes down to a fight getting made, when you've got a guy like Wilder saying he wants 50-50, when commercially he's never been anywhere near as big as Joshua, you have to question whether he really wants to fight or whether his people really want to fight. Maybe they're just building the fight at the moment. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe Wilder does want it because of the money he can generate from it. But his people, his backers, have told him to continuously mention Anthony Joshua because they need to build the hype for the fight in the United States. Eddie Hearn recently has been talking about if Joshua gets past Joseph Parker, and that's not a foregone conclusion, people, but if he does get past Joseph Parker, they'll be trying to make the Deontay Wilder fight, and they'll be looking at a 2-fight deal where one fight happens in the UK and the other fight happens in the United States. So that could be a compromise, and that could be a way to get the fight done. But again, that requires the fight to be sufficiently built in the United States. Anthony Joshua could fight me and it would be pay-per-view in the United Kingdom. So the UK market, Joshua's got that on lock. But in America, they've got a hell of a lot of work to do to be able to sell Joshua versus Wilder as a pay-per-view event. So again, perhaps that's why Wilder's shooting his mouth off about Joshua so much. Maybe it's a strategic thing. Deontay Wilder comes across as a very hot-headed, emotional kind of character sometimes. How much of that is really him, and how much of that is him playing up for the cameras for promotional purposes? I don't know. I'll leave that as something for you guys to ponder. But let me know what you think about the situation. Is Deontay Wilder overlooking Luis Ortiz? If he is, he could very well come unstuck. Some of you will say, even if he isn't overlooking Ortiz, he could still come unstuck, and a lot of you are predicting him to come unstuck against Luis Ortiz. So let me know how you feel about that, and let me know how you feel about him constantly talking about Anthony Joshua. What's it all about? Is it just for promotional purposes, or is he genuinely obsessed with the guy? Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. And yeah, how do you think Wilder's going to get on against Luis Ortiz? I haven't wavered in my view that I think Wilder is going to win. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that Luis Ortiz don't have a chance. I certainly won't be shocked if Ortiz wins, but if we're going on probabilities, I think in my mind the greatest probability is that Wilder will emerge victorious. So anyway, let me know how you feel about everything I've talked about in this video. Alright, it's happening, I'm out.